People have always needed to feel validated, but the internet has created an entire generation of people just dialing it to 11. Ah. Yeah, the world is crazy, and you know, I'm saying this as a man who has switched teams pretty much. I believe that everybody, especially a man who is, you know, learning things with experience, has a right to change his mind completely. You know what I mean? I used to be very liberal. Yeah, I used to be this guy who was like, okay, maybe I'm bisexual, you know. I need to try that, and I hate Donald Trump, Joe Biden all the way. I used to be this feminine guy, you know, long distance relationship. Not saying that long distance relationship is bad, it works, but you know. I completely switched the teams, you know, whenever this pandemic hit, you know. When the pandemic hit, I started to doubt the media. I was like, why are they forcing to take these, you know, to get vaccinated? Why are they forcing people to do that? Why don't we have a right not to do that? Why are they so aggressive? Then I started to look at everything more openly, and I see these crazy videos from the LGBT people.
I just like to feel comfortable in my skin, so I just wear whatever I want, and especially during big events, I like to just dress how I feel.
Preaching out here, I'm preaching truth.
No.
And I'm speaking up for babies.
I don't want to hear.
They look like clowns, literally. And yeah, clearly I had tried some crazy things like sex with men, because I was very liberal, you know what I mean? It didn't click with me, I did not like it at all. And I realized that it's more about the manipulation, you know, there are so many ways that, for example, media is manipulating people, you know? If you are not one of those people who is like, has a Twitter account and is open-minded to go and do research, you know, to form your opinion based on some facts, and you're trying not to get influenced by the outsiders, you know, the media can very easily just form your, you know, thoughts and tell you that Donald Trump is the same as Hitler, you know? It's very easy to believe that shit, and there are many people who do believe that shit, you know? And you can't really blame the people, you know? It's just the reality we live in, you know? And as long as those people don't open their eyes, I mean, can we help them? We can try to lead them towards their, you know, unbiased direction. Like, I'm not trying to tell anybody to love Trump or something like that. Fuck no. If you hate Trump, it's okay. It's your opinion. It's your life. It's all right, you know? But don't let one side form your opinion on everything, on how you should live the life and things like that. And in that way, the world is kind of fucked up. You know what I mean? Couldn't care less about politics. I mean, I do care about politics. I'm an investor. I invest my money into stocks, you know. Politics actually dictate a lot when it comes to investing. So, you know, I care about my money. I care about politics. I was always a guy who cares about politics, you know. But I understand people who don't. The internet used to have an entry gate of being smart enough to use a computer. It was decent filter against stupid people. You can say it was, but you know, the internet itself is great. It's just a tool, but it's more about how you use the tool, you know? Yeah, having a specific set of worldviews and your sexuality are two separate things, how I feel about it. I'm bisexual, but I have a lot more central and conservative views, such as family values, etc. I really respect that. I really respect that. What I respect religions, okay? I would never make fun of Jesus, because we don't know what happens after we die, right? I respect gay people, because I believe that there are men that are born and they don't have any interest in women, right? There are people who are just, you know, like my friend. He's like, I don't know, 37 or 38 years old. I'm like, have you had have you tried pussy? He's like, yeah, I don't like it. I was always attracted to men. And he says, I wish I wasn't, but I am, you know? And there are people like that, you know? And I really respect when those people, right? Imagine being attracted to the same gender, right? Yet they don't try to influence other people. In fact, they respect the straight people, right? And when they don't try to put that influence on kids, right? I really respect that shit, you know? You don't have to be liberal to be gay. This is the propaganda that media gives you, that if you want to be gay, you have to be liberal. If you want to be gay, you have to support transgenders. If you want to be gay, that's bullshit, you know? Or you don't have to be straight to be conservative. You can be a straight family guy, have your family, have 5 kids, a beautiful woman, be masculine, and support Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. You can do that. I'm just saying that you can be in the middle of those sides, right? You don't have to be 100% liberal or 100% conservative. In fact, I think it's wrong to be one-sided, because if you are like strictly conservative, you know, just think, is it you as a human being, or is it because you've been influenced by somebody? Like, for example, your father can have that kind of influence on your life. You know what I mean? I saw a couple children, like fucking 11 years old, 10 years old, and their mamas are like extreme transgenderism supporters, okay? And they take these little kids, like these little boys that don't even know how the world works, okay? Into these parades, you know? And they are like, oh, we support transgender rights. And I'm like, bro, you're 10 years old. What the fuck? Go and buy ice cream.